Hi there, welcome to video 6 of the decimals video series. This time we're having a look at subtracting decimals. Getting exciting. Subtracting decimals. Now the rules here are very similar to the rules for adding decimals, so that's nice and familiar for us. We'll line up our decimal points. We'll add some extra zeros if we need to, just to make the number of digits match in our question. And our decimal point in our answer stays in line, very similar to adding except we're subtracting. Let's have a look at this first example, 13.7 minus 2.4. Let's set it out nicely so our decimal points are lined up. Okay, 7 minus 4 is 3. Now, the decimal point in our answer stays lined up with the decimal points that were in our question, so our decimal point is just going straight underneath there. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So we got a final answer of 11.3. Nothing surprising happened there. Our decimal points lined up, and in our answer it just goes straight underneath the decimal points that were already lined up. No great surprises in that one. Let's have a look at a slightly trickier example. Let's line up the decimal points here. Okay, now you'll see we've kind of got a missing digit over there, so we're allowed to add zeros so that the number of digits match. So we've got something to subtract from the 5. In this case though, we're going to put a 0 in, so it helps our brain a little bit. Now, different teachers teach different ways of subtracting here. I learnt a different way to how most students these days learn how to subtract, so I'm not going to describe the subtraction process too much here. The important thing is we can add zeros to make all the digits line up. 5 minus 0 is 5. Then you can do some carrying in this middle bit, carrying over and borrowing and that sort of thing. However you learnt that, I'm quite happy not to get into that explanation. That can be for another day. But in the end we have these digits here. You'll notice in our answer that the decimal point, once again, in our answer lines up directly underneath the decimal points that were in our question. So not that much trickier. We just added that 0 in to help our brain a little bit, to have lots of digits to subtract, and subtract however you've learnt, but the decimal points line up. That's the main thing we want to get out of this particular video lesson. Okay, so subtracting decimals, a bit like adding decimals, we line up the decimal points first. We can put in extra zeros if we want the number of digits to match, and then the decimal point in our answer just stays in line. That's all it is. Hope that helps. Let's move on to the next one.